For this question, we have very different graph for the market. So for this graph, we have quantity and price, and the supply curve is still upward sloping. Basically, measures the higher the price, the more quantity the supplier would like to supply. But for the demand curve, it is very weird. It's a vertical line. So basically, this is a demand curve. And based on the demand curve and the supply curve, we have the equilibrium price P star and the equilibrium quantity Q star. Okay, so what do we mean by this vertical demand curve? Vertical demand curve, based on the definition of demand, that says that whatever the price is, even the price is zero, the quantity demanded is Q star. Even if the price is infinity, the quantity demanded is still Q star. So basically means that the quantity demanded does not change with the price change. So in this case, it's kind of, you can believe this is an infinite demand of the consumer. So know that the market price is P star, right? And based on definition, it says that consumer surplus measures the difference of the price the consumer is willing to pay and the price the consumer actually pays. But because it is a vertical demand curve, that means consumer is willing to pay any amount of price for the specific quantity, right? So that means the consumer surplus in this case is infinity. Okay, so this is a kind of a symbol for infinity. So this is a really weird case because previously we always have a downward sloping demand curve. Downward sloping demand curve is kind of a very general case. That means the higher the price, the less the consumer is willing to pay. And in that case, if if we have a downward sloping demand curve, small graph here, this is the demand here. If we have a downward sloping demand curve and upward sloping supply curve, then the consumer surplus is a finite number. It's greater than zero and is a finite number. Okay, but because in this case, it is a vertical demand curve, and the willingness of the consumer to make the payment is infinity. So the consumer surplus in this case is infinity. But in general, we have downward sloping demand curve and the upward sloping supply curve, and the consumer surplus and producer surplus, both of them are positive number and is finite.